Hey, it's Chris. The Arctic is like no other place on Earth, and it's home to many unique wildlife species. Join me as I tell you about 8 fascinating Arctic animals. Number 8. The beluga whale. The beluga whale, also known as the white whale, is nicknamed the canary of the sea because of the complex musical calls it uses to communicate with other belugas underwater. It's one of the smallest whale species in the world and is known for its distinctive white color, and it's related to another animal on this list, the tusked unicorn whale called the narwhal. In the wild, the average lifespan of the beluga is between 35 and 50 years. A fully grown beluga whale is between 13 and 20 feet long and weighs between 1 and 1.5 tons. These whales lack a dorsal fin and have rounded heads. Calves are born gray or brown. They fade to white around 5 years of age when they become sexually mature. Belugas are social animals that live together in small groups called pods. They're also very vocal and use various unique noises to communicate with one another, including clicks, whistles, clangs, and other sounds, hence their nickname Canary of the Sea. Their diet consists primarily of worms, fish, and crustaceans. The beluga whale commonly dwells in the coastal waters of the Arctic Ocean, but can also be found in subarctic waters. When the sea freezes over, they migrate south to avoid becoming trapped in the ice and dying. The most common predators of belugas are polar bears, killer whales, and humans, including indigenous tribes of the north and commercial fisheries. In the past, hunting has brought certain populations of belugas, such as that of the Gulf of St. Lawrence, to the brink of collapse. Number 7. Canada lynx. The Canada lynx is only about twice the size of your average housecat. It reaches around 2 feet in height and is typically between 2.5 and 3 feet long, and it weighs 10 to 25 pounds. The typical lifespan of a Canada lynx is around 15 years. Canada lynx resemble bobcats a little, but there are a few fundamental differences between the two species, including their habitats. Bobcats are widespread throughout the lower 48 states, while Canada lynx live mainly throughout Canada and some northern U.S. states, including Alaska and parts of Montana, Idaho, and Washington. And their physical appearances differ slightly as well. The Canada lynx has longer legs and bigger feet than the bobcat, as well as longer tufts on its ears. Although these medium-sized wildcats prey almost exclusively on the snowshoe hare, they're capable of taking down a target as large as a young reindeer. However, this rarely, if ever, happens. In fact, populations of Canada lynx in Alaska and Canada are known to fluctuate along with snowshoe hare populations, since that is pretty much all they eat. Canada lynx are important to their environment because they help keep the quickly reproducing populations of their prey under control. This species also plays an important ecological role because their protected status also helps to protect the rare and dwindling mixed habitat of younger and older forests that they inhabit. These cats are solitary animals who usually travel and hunt alone. They are slightly more active at night than during the day. Mating occurs during winter, and litters usually range between 1 and 5 kittens. Number 6. Musk ox. The musk ox is a large hoofed mammal that reaches a shoulder height of between 4 and 5 feet and weighs between 500 and 800 pounds. Its average lifespan in the wild is 12 to 15 years. Musk oxen have inhabited the Arctic tundra for thousands of years. As a result, their coats are well adapted to the frigid climate. Their long, shaggy outer hairs are called guard hairs and protect a shorter coat underneath, which provides extra insulation during the winter. And when temperatures climb near the end of winter, this undercoat falls out. These animals travel in herds that are sometimes as large as 2 or 3 dozen, and which are led by a single female. Musk oxen are very protective of their young. The herd will form a circle around a threatened calf to defend it from a predator such as a wolf. When necessary, a musk ox will even use its horns to scoop up an approaching wolf and throw the animal to the ground. As intimidating as musk oxen may seem, they're actually herbivores. They survive by eating mosses, roots, and lichens. To access these plants during the winter, a musk ox will dig through the snow using its hooves. In the summer, they often feed near water, supplementing their diets with Arctic flowers and grasses. The musk ox is considered a stable species, but because great numbers of them were killed in the past by hunters for their hides and meat, they are protected by legislation in Alaska, Norway, and Siberia, and they live on preserves. Number 5. Snowy owl. The snowy owl is a bulky, large bird with no ear tufts and a smooth, rounded head. It's white with brown and black markings on its body and wings, and has yellow eyes. Females tend to have a salt and pepper look due to more dense markings. Males, on the other hand, are paler and become white with age. Adults of both genders have an average wingspan of 49.6 to 57.1 inches. The coloring of the birds acts as camouflage during northern winters. Snowy owls feed primarily on lemmings, but will also eat rabbits, rodents, birds, and fish. These strikingly beautiful birds breed in the treeless Arctic tundra and can be found along the shorelines of lakes and the ocean in the winter. During the summer, snowy owls may be nomadic, but tend to nest near high populations of lemmings. They're known to frequently migrate to Canada, the northern US, Asia, and Europe. And sometimes they just remain in their northern breeding grounds year-round. Snowy owls prefer wide open areas, such as agricultural fields and airport properties. They fly low to the ground and like to perch on objects like fence posts, telephone poles, bays of hail, and the crests of dunes. Unlike most owl species, which are nocturnal, the snowy owl is actually diurnal, which means it hunts both at night and during the day. It's a solitary and patient hunter, and has great hearing and really keen eyesight. Number 4. Bowhead whale. The bowhead whale is unique compared to other whale species because it remains in the Arctic waters year-round, rather than migrating to warmer waters during the winter. Their 20-inch thick layer of blubber is the thickest of any animal on Earth, and is what enables them to stay in one place, unlike other whales. Although bowhead whales don't migrate, their movement patterns are dictated by the melting and freezing of ice. Thanks to their large skulls and powerful bodies, they're capable of breaking through ice more than 7 inches thick. Adults are entirely black, minus their predominantly upturned and white jaw. They grow up to 60 feet long and can leap completely out of the water, despite weighing a massive 75 to 100 tons. Like many whale species, they feed primarily on plankton. The bowhead whale is one of the longest living species on the planet. Scientists determined that they can likely live to be over 200 years old, based on eye tissue analysis and stone harpoons that have been found in the blubber of living whales. That's so cool. Number 3. Wolverine. The wolverine is the largest member of the weasel family and lives in northern latitudes throughout the world. An adult typically weighs between 22 and 66 pounds and has a shoulder height of 14 to 18 inches. Wolverines are both incredibly fierce hunters and ruthless scavengers. They're equipped with long, sharp claws and strong teeth. Despite their small size, they can reportedly take down animals as big as caribou and elk, and have also been known to attack small bears, deer, and sheep. They also have a superior sense of smell, and can detect an animal carcass underneath as much as 20 feet of snow. These animals scavenge animal carcasses, and they won't hesitate to raid a cabin for its food supply if they can get inside. Aside from the fearsome nature of wolverines, you also don't want to come in close contact with one because while on the prowl, they release a very foul-smelling odor from their anal glands. Wolverines have no natural predators and are only hunted by us humans. They're solitary animals and typically only interact with one another for mating purposes. Number 2. Polar bear. Polar bears dwell on the sea ice in 5 countries throughout the Arctic: the United States, Canada, Russia, Greenland, and Norway. A polar bear's home range can be enormous and is bigger than any other bear species due to the vast and ever-changing nature of the sea ice. There are 2 main factors that influence a polar bear's size: the availability of seal prey and the quantity of sea ice. Polar bears are well insulated for the cold, thanks to their double-layered coat, which consists of a dense underfur covered by guard hairs. This coat is so effective, male polar bears can overheat quickly from running. The fur is not white but transparent and pigment-free with a hollow core. Much like what happens with ice and snow, polar bear fur scatters and reflects visible light, which is what gives it its white appearance. Their skin is black and covers a thick layer of fat, offering additional warmth in the frigid Arctic climate. A polar bear's paw is massive, measuring up to 11.81 inches across, and is accompanied by a black foot pad and thick, curved, sharp claws, each measuring 1.97 inches long. An adult female polar bear ranges between 5.9 and 7.9 feet tall, while males are 7.9 to 9.8 feet tall. Females weigh between 330 and 550 pounds, and males can reach a massive 900 pounds. Polar bears are at the top of the Arctic food chain. Their only predators are humans and occasionally each other. These fierce bears eat mostly ringed and bearded seals because they rely heavily on their high fat content to stay healthy. But they'll also eat vegetation and animals other than seals, including walruses, bowhead whale remains, birds, and small mammals. Number 1, as promised, the narwhal. Narwhals are carnivorous pale-colored porpoises that grow between 13 and 20 feet long and weigh around 1.5 tons. And they live in the Arctic rivers and coastal waters. You probably know the narwhal as a whale with a unicorn-like horn. This tusk is actually one of the animal's 2 teeth. In males, this sword-like spiral tusk grows up to 8.8 feet long. Females sometimes grow a small tusk, and it's far less prominent than a male's. Narwhals are related to several marine mammal species, including bottlenose dolphins, belugas, orcas, and harbor porpoises. And they live on a variety of aquatic fare, such as fish, shrimp, and squid. Like many other porpoise species, these mythical-looking animals typically travel in groups totaling between 15 and 20. However, there have been reports of gatherings of narwhals numbering in the hundreds and even thousands. Such a large group is unusual, though, and it's vulnerable to becoming trapped by shifting pack ice and preyed upon by polar bears, walruses, and Inuit hunters. Narwhal tusks and skin are an important source of vitamin C in the traditional Arctic diet among Inuit people. Well, there you go. Would you like to learn more about these incredible animals in the Arctic? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're at it, if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave so I can see you next time.